This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 644.
I program my own computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have a whole bunch next week. None in the US, but across the world, yes. First and foremost, we have in order, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Sort of. WordCamp Mannheim, July 3rd, July 4th. That's in Germany. WordCamp Rajshahi, which is in Bangladesh, July 2nd and 3rd. WordCamp Masaka in Uganda, July 4th. And WordPress Day for AI in Valencia, Spain, also on July 4th. So those look pretty cool. That one on July 4th on AI, it's pretty short. It's 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pretty short little half day type of event. So you should go. If you want to learn more about AI and WordPress, definitely hit that one up. And the other ones as well if you're in those parts of the world. All right, moving on, segment one in the news. A couple of things here. First is the classic block, part of the default block editor in Gutenberg. So the legacy classic block is going to be deprecated. Coming with version 7.1, it's completely hidden from the block inserter, library, and slash commands. And then 7.2, the core team has targeted that complete removal of the underlying capability layer from the default availability. So keep that in mind if you're still using classic blocks or looking for them in the upcoming months when those kind of roll out. So there's that. That's not to be confused with the classic editor. That looks like it's still, as a plugin, is still going to be viable or available as far as I could see. I didn't see anything indicating otherwise for now. So, because I know I still use it from time to time, but I will say on the most recent site I built, I did not use classic editor. Still using a page builder, still using Beaver Builder, but not a classic editor. So that's baby steps, little wins. All right. Also in the news, it looks like the Mercantile swag store had a completely redesigned storefront. So you can buy WordPress labeled branded items on the store. It's over at, what's the URL for this one? It is technically mercantile.wordpress.org. Looks pretty good. It's pretty neat. So check that out if you're looking for swag with the WordPress logo and accoutrement on it. So there's that. And that's it in the news. Yeah. All right. Moving on to this week's Meat Potatoes segment 2. This week I have an interview with Howard Spaeth. Howard and I met, and I guess about a year ago. We've known each other for a long time. You'll hear all about it. So here is my interview with Howard, and when I come back, we'll do the tip and tool of the week. All right. Here it is. Today, I am joined by Howard Spaeth. Howard is a WordPress consultant who runs his own agency, H Grant Designs. He has owned the business for over 12 years. He has also worked for numerous web design agencies all over the country. He enjoys the ins and outs of making a website come to life, as well as fixing broken websites. He's a big sports fan. You can often find him at a sporting event during the summer. He also recently got into photography. It says recently on social media, but I think it's been longer than recent. Welcome to the Kitchen Sink WP podcast, Mr. Howard Spaeth.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And to be fully transparent, this is the second time we're doing this opening because somehow I muted you from the get-go. I like to be honest with the audience. So as I always start with interviews, I always want to say and tell the audience how I might know the guest. In this case, we met in person, first time, WordCamp Montclair 2025, excuse me.
25.
There was no other time before that. We thought maybe there was.
Nope.
But other than that, just online, post status, and just in the ethers, if you will, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I had a good time meeting you in person, actually, at Montclair. We went on a walk.
And we went for a walk. Yeah.
The special walk, which if you go back to my Strava, you can see what we mapped out. I won't say it here on this podcast. Anyway, it's not family friendly per se, but nonetheless. So for those who don't know you, tell the world here how you got here into the WordPress space.
Yeah, so it was kind of a funny story, not so funny story, I guess. I graduated college and just always, hey, what do I want to do with my life? I was actually working as like a cashier, trying to figure it out at one of my dad's clients, a little restaurant. And literally one day I went on my LinkedIn and it said, let me just start using LinkedIn. Never know. And I saw I was being endorsed for web design, graphic design. I've always been into computers, for as long as I can be. So I was like, let me see if this is something I want to go into. So I kind of took an internship. And then from there, I wanted to like have websites as like a nights and weekends thing because, the internship was like, oh, we're going to hire you. We were really ton talking. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. But I guess for the better world, it didn't work out because now I have this agency. And I just kind of literally took it overnight because I was on my LinkedIn and kind of started from there. Now 12 years later, and when I started, here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of just lands in your lap. Real quick, you mentioned you've always been into computers. Just a quick side note. What was your very first computer you owned or used before you owned it?
So first one, I remember, so I have a photographic memory, right? So I remember being in like middle school and literally using Windows 3.1.
Oh, wow.
That's the first time I remember using, and then obviously 95 came out. I actually remembered, right now I can recall the way the computer sat and loading up the computer and playing, there was either, I think it was The Sims on Windows 90, SimCity, sorry, SimCity 2000 on Windows 95. Oh, that game was amazing. Anyway,
Okay.
and then my brother started working at, computer stores, and then I remember the first one I ever owned, we built me a computer when I was in high school. And
Okay.
so that was, and then it wasn't like, HP, Dell, whatever. It was a custom built.
Yeah.
And I remember that was my first computer in high school. But even before that, it was Windows 3.1, 95. I don't think we had Windows 98. I think we went from 95 and then what was it? ME, Windows ME. Then
Yeah.
I remember Windows ME, which was terrible. I remember that. And then what was after ME? Was it Windows?
I'm a Mac guy. I don't know.
I think it went from, I could be wrong. I think it went from ME to 7, which was, I guess,
And
I don't
before
remember. It was so
XP,
long ago.
yeah.
Oh, XP. Sorry,
XP.
it was XP. Right,
XP.
right. Oh my God, XP. Windows XP was by far the best.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, I know companies out there who are still using Windows XP.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. All right.
Because,
moving back.
Anyway, go back
to the WordPress space. What, as an agency owner, you're an agency of one, correct?
Yeah, so I am. It's my own agency. I do have developers,
Yes.
but it's it is me essentially.
Yeah. So what's your day to day look like? You wake up. It's a Thursday. What's your day to day?
Today's Friday, man. No, I'm kidding.
I know today's Friday, but
Yeah, no. So I've gotten to where everything is kind of not automated, but everything is pretty robust in the fact that I have kind of everything organized. So let's say I wake up. I check, obviously we always check our email, check our phones. First thing we always wake up is kind of sad, but that's the world we live in. I basically check my Slack if I have any alerts from my server, from, my remote backups or anything like that. If nothing's, I mean, obviously when I first wake up, it's whatever, but I get to the office, if, I check my daily stuff, which is check my backups, make sure everything's good, check if there's any alerts, check if there's anything vulnerable. And then I do, my daily website updates, check them, because I have every kind of scheduled. So I check those, and that's pretty much where we are in the morning at this point, where everything is kind of automated. The day-to-day is pretty organized. We have daily tasks assigned to everyone. We have our development stuff. I'm kind of more at this point doing the more checking, doing the more sales, connecting with clients. And then I have obviously my development team who I'm always checking in with daily. We have a checking channel, so I know when they're checking into work. And we just kind of keep it fun. We keep it loose. We're all engaging with one another because I do feel like that's something strong to make sure, hey, I'm here, you need help, let me know. And then also my admin will, assign tasks to the team as well.
Okay. Yeah. So solid, the typical day to day owning the company, and you're working in it as well to some extent. What I want to ask you is, so how many clients do you currently have as like ongoing kind of, or projects? And so twofold. One would be you have new projects, I would imagine.
Yep.
And then you also have the ongoing maintenance, the web care.
Yep.
How big of that stable?
Yeah. So right now I can honestly tell because I was looking. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 builds active.
6, 7.
6, 7, yeah, exactly. I'll wait till my cousin in Brazil hear that one. No, it's inside joke. Inside joke. So we have 7 open projects right now. We're waiting on a couple more to see if they're going to sign. So it's actually 6 because I actually just launched one literally like 10 minutes ago. And then we actively have between our ongoing clients, our retainer clients, plus white label clients, plus hey, you need help. I'm looking at around probably 200 clients at this point.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah. So it's solid. So we're always, some days can be insanely busy. Some days are obviously insanely slow. But there's always something, I find the guys to do.
Nice. So I want to talk about that aspect because I think one of the things I read online is that at one point, one of your old bios had 90 sites that you were managing. Now you're up to 200.
Yeah.
So A, you got to go back and fix that. But B, you've grown over the years, obviously. 12 years, you've had decent growth.
Yeah.
I know recently that we've talked about acquisitions, growth by acquisition. And there was a moment, actually, you and I talked because before, when I was looking to maybe sell my agency, you were on that list. You had interest because I had joined web dev and now I've left. So that whole thing doesn't really matter. But I wanted to talk to you about that. How has that gone? What have you learned from it that you want to share, if anything? I know some behind baseball, but nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been an interesting journey. Learning how new clients want to, or the clients that have been acquired, it's a learning curve, right? Learning how they work, learning how I work, consistently just following up with, hey, I know there's a turnover, let's jump on a call, introduce ourselves. But I will say, all the clients who did come over from my latest have been super easy to work with. They know how to reach me. They can text, they can call, they can, open up a support ticket. And they've been super grateful. You say, hey, thanks, we appreciate everything you're doing for us. There obviously have been some of the clients who are hesitant, naturally.
They don't know you.
Because it's a change. But besides that, it's been going pretty well. I do potentially have another one, but I'm not sure, where that is. But I do feel in this world, or in the WordPress world, that there's so many businesses, there's so many developers. I don't look at it as competition. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, you have your small agency. I guess I'm considered small, medium. I don't even know at this point. Yeah. But there's stuff you're good at, there's stuff that I'm good at, and vice versa. There's going to be stuff that I'm not great at that you're good at. So in my mind, acquisition is cool, but there's always a reason why people are looking to sell. Maybe it's burnout. Maybe it's because they're going to work for most. They don't have time. The one piece of advice I can really give is don't just look to sell just to sell, if that makes sense, right? Like for instance, my one friend, actually, it's funny. We were talking before. Probably 2 years ago at this point, I want to say. We were going to discuss money, we were going to discuss everything. And he goes, I'm looking just to sell because I'm burnt out. Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And we were talking, and then I didn't hear from him for a few weeks, and then he came back and he's like, oh, well, I really kind of thought back, said, no, I don't want to sell because I was like, I just wanted money. So it's more like, just don't do it to do it. Do it for a reason. Like, are you really going to be burnt out? Are you going to be okay? Because, for instance, I know someone who sold. He sold 2 years ago, 3, maybe a year and a half. Well, that company let him go.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you built everything up, you sold everything, now you're back to square one. And it's like, where are you going to make your living from? Do you want to start over? Well, can you afford to start over? Can you go get another job? You know what I mean? So it's like, for instance, me, H. Grant. So the backstory is that my grandma, she always loved my middle name. Grant's my middle name. Always loved it. And I never was using it. She goes, why don't you use it? So for me, if one day, I sold, I think it would be hard for me because of that, sentimental value in a way.
Sure.
So I would say I wouldn't be, again, there's a reason for everything.
I can tell you though, real quick, Howard, from over time, that'll change because I never thought I would ever sell
Yeah.
be interested in selling Concierge or Kitchen Sink, the podcast.
Right.
Now, if an offer comes in, I mean, Concierge is too small now. In that, in the year that since we spoke about it, things have shifted. A lot of my clients have either shut down or lost funding because of the government. A lot of them are nonprofits.
Right.
So my book of accounts is half by far, full stop.
Oh yeah.
So the valuation's not there, but I was open to it by all means.
Oh yeah.
Because I was burnt out a bit, and because I took another opportunity, timing.
Right.
As far as the podcast, I've also talked to some companies about being acquired in the sense of having to be a sponsored, like an in-house podcast by, in theory, a hosting company. So over time, I think you come around to like, you know what, this is good,
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't mean like just do it. Yeah, like there has to be a reason. Like, hey, let's say like I don't know, a company comes, hey, we're gonna offer you $1 million. Well, yeah, hell, like do it. Yeah, but like if
from the sentimental perspective, it's still there's something there. Yeah. Absolutely, it's tangible because you've built it. It's your baby. It's your namesake.
Exactly.
But there is a point in time, like, you know what? There's a bit of the balance of financial stability in walking away or some other thing. Anyway,
So that's kind of where my advice is at that point for it.
Yeah. So you're still open to acquiring growth by acquisition?
Yeah. Yes. I definitely have learned things. I would do things differently.
Sure.
Obviously, it was the first one I've bought. I'm not going to lie. I definitely have learned some good things, some bad things I would do differently. But obviously, you learn from mistakes. You learn what you can do better. And especially in this world of WordPress business, you can't be closed-minded. You have to be open-minded.
Right.
You have to say, hey, this is what was really good. This is what wasn't good. And you go from there.
Okay. Awesome. Next question is something that you mentioned before we hit record, actually. You mentioned, and it kind of comes back to this growth by acquisition, is also churn. The fact that, obviously over time, clients will leave. And you mentioned right before we hit record that you recently lost a client. And this is going to lead to some real see in that they had sent you a message saying that they wanted to leave. They're firing you, if you will, but whatever. Sometimes it's a good leave. Sometimes it's a bad leave. This one's in between.
Correct.
But you indicated that you could tell they wrote the letter via AI.
Yep,
that takes me to the question, what's your take on the AI world inside of all things WordPress these days? Are you using it?
So we don't use it for our builds. I use AI. I'm not going to say I don't. I'm using it in a different sense. I do it for research. I do it for, it's kind of funny because I do IT as well. I don't really Google anymore. AI, Claude and ChatGPT is my new Google.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's more, but we don't use any of the AI. Well, that's not true. We have been using for the meta descriptions and the meta tags and all that from Yoast's AI. That's what we've been using AI because that's from Yoast itself, for the pages. But in terms of using page builders for AI, we're not using it. We do all of our builds, from design. So WordPress itself, we're not using AI. We're not interjecting into it. I think from a standpoint of AI, I think it's something, obviously it's not going away. It's going to be further enhanced. I think it's going to, and people are, it's going to take my job. Honestly, I don't agree with that. Yeah. I can't, for instance, I saw something the other day somewhere that someone's like, tell me you didn't use Claude to design your site without telling me, because all the Claude sites are always the same text fonts. They're always the same, the weights of the fonts. No, I think it's something that you have to use. You have to bring into your daily work, because I've learned stuff, for instance, like my photography stuff. I'm learning hashtags and people to tag that I never would have thought. And some of my pictures are kind of going crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I've met, because of those hashtags and those tags, I've met a lot of people who I've never met before, and I talk to them. I've never met them in real life. We talk through Instagram. You know what I mean?
Right.
And some of them are actually here in New Jersey. And ironically, which is kind of crazy, that because of one of these hashtags, there's someone I found in St. Louis with the same last name who's into photographing the same stuff I am.
Weird.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. We were going back and forth through Instagram. Like, that's why, like, and I don't have a very common last name.
Right.
So it's kind of cool like that. But back to the whole, AI, I think it's not going away, right? You have to embrace it. one thing I am kind of over is, at all these WordPress conferences, all these local meetups, every single talk is AI this, AI that, AI this. And I'm just over it. Like, I think there has to be a balance. And I get it. It's a cool, shiny new thing, because it's still, what's the word I'm looking for? It's revolutionizing everything, right?
Sure.
I don't even know if that's the
Sure.
correct word. But it's
I mean,
just like,
it's also kind of democratizing things again as well
yeah,
as far as development
yeah,
goes. I mean,
yes,
I don't know
yes,
about
yes,
you.
yes.
I use it. I was against it originally, thinking this is
Oh, I was too.
totally not going to
100%.
thing. And then I realized I
Yep.
took it, gave it a chance, and then I was running out of tokens, if you will. So I now pay for ChatGPT.
I
And
pay for Claude, but yeah, same thing.
It helps me ideate. I don't use it 100%. It helps me brainstorm.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then,
100%.
but so I use ChatGPT and I pay for that, and I use Codex, the desktop,
Okay. Yep.
Cloud
Yep,
Cloud
yeah.
Code,
Yeah, yeah.
and due to that, I have vibe coded half a dozen plugins for personal use.
Same. Same.
In 2 days ago, in 1 hour, I haven't shared this yet. I might put it out there for free. I probably will. I've always wanted to have, you have 200 domains. I have, a couple dozen in the running space. I've always wanted to see the Google Analytics in one dashboard, but you can't do that in Google Analytics.
No.
Because they don't,
Interesting.
because you have an account and you have all the different properties.
Yeah.
So now I have a web page on my local computer, through local WP just for
displays
and it brings
everything.
it all up, brings me all my domains,
That's
shows
awesome.
me. It took me an hour to write a plugin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I built some pretty cool tools that I've actually seen my admin get less stressed because some of the tools I've built.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely vibe coded a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. For instance, I vibe coded with Cloudflare's API
Mm-hmm.
that I can literally do all my DNS without open Cloudflare.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And then there are some, security rules I've put into place from Troy Glancy. He uses web agency here. So, we all know kind of Troy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, it's really frustrating that I have to go every time I want to copy these rules.
Right.
So I was talking to him. I'm like, he goes, but you have your tool. I was like, oh, can I really do it? So literally yesterday, I throw it back in the Claude code and go, can I do it? And literally maybe 15 minutes later, I'm able to now copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. I built that.
And again, but
you know-
here's the thing. You and I, and people who listen to this podcast, for the most part, we are tech savvy, different
Correct.
levels of savviness.
Yeah.
So my thought is when you hear in our bubble, it's all the rage.
Yeah.
But outside of the bubble, people don't care at the moment. And again, clients don't care just yet.
Well,
in a year from
that's
now, that may change.
Well, so ironically, one of my IT clients and I were talking, and he was like, here's what I want to do. How do I do this?
That's fair.
We literally built him, and I was talking to him, he hasn't used as much, but we literally built something that he can use now because he's in real estate, that he can use, put in his information we've got him an API key, put it in. It can literally tell him, hey, this house is this X. He can now go target those specific houses.
Right.
Because he called me and goes, how do I do this? I'm like, let's build something.
Right.
Took me 3-4 hours.
And I can tell
and
you,
we built it.
I mean, my WordPress agency is younger than yours. We've been around WordPress a long time. I've been doing it for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
I'm reinvigorated to build stuff, most of it for myself in the running space, as you know.
Right.
And some of my little side hustle ideas and whatnot. But
Right.
it is definitely more fun because I don't have to I can think about it, I can verbalize it, I can get it done.
Yeah.
And there's no more stumbling block. Honestly, one of my next projects that I have queued up very well may not be WordPress, just as a test. It just might be using Supabase on the back end, and just a landing page because, things are shifting in the space, as we know. There's drama, which I don't get into. But, but it's interesting
all
to
know
see
that drama.
where things are going,
Yeah. Like, for instance, another tool that I built is I was getting frustrated. Well, the client called me and she goes, hey, all of a sudden, I'm not getting any contact forms. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Postmark should be working. Well, turns out that I forgot to turn Postmark on. But I'm like, well, there's no way for you to manage that. So the first thing I vibe coded was I literally built a Postmark monitor, which basically connects and it uses that server's API. You tag it, and I have it going into Slack. So I have a channel just for Slack, and I get daily reports that, hey, email hasn't been sent in 24 hours. You can set your monitoring time. And then I started getting ignored. I was getting those alerts on weekends. So then I expanded, like, hey, still monitor, but don't send me alerts on weekends.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Slack is getting too noisy. So I was like, let me add an email component. So I built an email component into it. And then someone who, I was working, they're like, well, it's working great, but how do I know if things are being bounced? So then I further expanded on it. So now it says suppressions. And it's all vibe coded. It's all through their API. Right. I actually asked Postmark first. I'm like, hey, do you have, open API, do what you want. And I built it maybe in 2-3 hours. It works on Macs, it works on PCs, and it works. I don't check Slack. I check Slack every day, but I just check my email alerts. Nice. Because I have all of my clients now who are using Postmark, which is, I don't know, whatever it is, it just sends me a daily email. So obviously my emails are flooded, obviously, but it all goes into a filtered list in my email.
At the end of the day, we become consultants again and advisors and how to and a solution provider in a sense, right? It's not change. It's changing what we can offer, and it's more value, I think, to the client. It's not removing any. It's actually giving us more work if you think about it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, all right. A couple more questions for you. I want to be respectful of your time. I think
that's fine.
Next question for you is this: if someone came to you right now, let's say they're just out of college. Yep. Hey, I'm interested in the space of web development. What advice would you give them?
Ooh, that's tough.
Yes.
I think I would say learn WordPress, but start networking. I think from a standpoint of, because when I was back at WordPress, WordCamp US, obviously, I knew a lot of people, right? Sure. A lot of people in this world because, again, post status, all the other channels, whatever. But seeing people who are, like I was talking about, hey, this is my first camp, I'm just starting. There were so many individuals that I saw who were just on the outskirts. They didn't know anyone. They were nervous. They were scared. I believe that, and I was once at that point. I went to WordCamp and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know this person. I don't, but then, I think that once you start, and you can get involved too. I think once you start getting involved in WordCamp, once you start, or the local meetups, however you want to call it, networking, you're going to learn more skills. For instance, myself, when I first started, I joined a Facebook group. I don't remember the name of it. And I met this guy, Dan. And he was actually instrumental in my growth. I talk to him every day. I thank him. He can even tell me probably 4 times a year. So thank you. Because of you, we wouldn't be this point. I don't remember how, but it was a thread. And we just started talking on Facebook. We've never met in real life. We've talked on the phone. We've done Zooms. We text all the time. And somehow I got banned from that Facebook group. Don't remember, but I don't remember what I wrote. But again, it's still here. But because of that, because I took that leap, I started gaining that confidence, learning what I can do. Community is key.
But on the flip side of that, since COVID, things have completely shifted to where it's really hard to have in-person stuff for whatever reason in real life.
Yes, and we can relate to that because our local meetup before COVID, our help desk would get 50, 60 people. Now our help desk gets maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe it's nothing, and we're like, what do we do? So yes, I agree there that it's definitely shifted since COVID. But there's still the Slacks. There's still Facebook. There's still the LinkedIn groups. Yeah. And unfortunately, you do have these people online who are just seeing they're completely nasty people. They write, comments that are mean. So I definitely think that it takes a bit to find who you can connect with and who you can communicate and work with. But honestly, I really do feel community and getting to know anyone is going to help you further your strength in learning WordPress, learning your skills. Because if it wasn't for X, I wouldn't know why. If I didn't, you know what I mean? So I definitely community, join network, join a local meetup, go to, different things.
Or start one if there isn't one.
Or start one. Because
that's the thing. People always think, well, it's not here. I can't do it. You can do it.
Right.
You can always start your own.
You just have to take.
And just start it and get involved.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. There's a quote that from obviously I'm a big Knicks fan, so obviously yesterday watching the parade and all that.
Oh, did they win?
Oh, I don't know. Did they? Let me tell you. First time in 53 years?
I got so much email to my adamsilver.com email address in the past 30 days. I replied to each one of them. People were not happy with the commissioner and some of the calls and whatnot. Go on.
Oh, it was bad. Yeah. It was pretty horrific. Anyway, we can go on for hours about that. So the captain, Jalen Brunson, the mayor yesterday on parade made a quote. He goes, I'm going to paraphrase it, but Jalen's quote was like, just because there's nothing doesn't mean, if people talk crap or whatever, doesn't, you have to rise above it, show them that you can do it. Right. Obviously, that's not the exact quote, but it stuck with me because I was kind of in that same boat. You know what I mean? Like, I was originally supposed to go to a community college because my grades in high school weren't great. I ended up going to a 4-year school. Then I wanted to teach. Well, that didn't pan out because the school didn't tell me stuff. So there was always stuff that kind of brought me down, but then I rose above it, and now look where I am.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of surreal in that, like, listen, like, here I am 12 years in. I have a huge office that I'm in. You know what I mean? I love it. I have people who, will rely on me for X. I have people who rely on me for Y, which is great. 10 years ago, I told you I'd be running this still, and to the magnitude I am, I would be like, there's no way.
Right.
So that kind of stuck with me. So yeah, I mean, you can't let other people bring you down. Yeah, it stinks. Like, yeah, losing that client who's been with me for 8 years stinks. But I know that, I did what I was supposed to do. I never did anything outside the scope.
Right.
So you got to kind of, rely on yourself.
Right.
To kind of rise above.
Right. All right. Last question for you. 3 favorite tools. People like to know what owners and business owners use as kind of do your thing to day to day.
So 3 favorite tools: Freshdesk for my ticketing. I'd be lost without it because I have everything go through there. So it's easy for me and my admin to review. My tool, one of the tools that I personally built, which is a Clickup to Slack notifier. So basically we can put stuff in Clickup, it gets automatically assigned and goes to our Slack channel so my team can easily flow. And the third one, I know I was thinking about this, and now I would probably say WPRemote is the third one, because I always, from a security standpoint, I don't like giving out passwords to clients' websites.
Sure.
I now have it where all my team is in WPRemote. We can limit access to certain sites. They don't need a password. They can click WP admin. They're in.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I would do.
Freshdesk I also use. Am I using Freshdesk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm still using it. Yeah, I am.
I won't not use it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but there's
too many. Yeah.
There's a lot going. Well, I also, because I have the other brand in there, so it's because I have the other brand in there. I go that the built for server stuff in there, so it all feeds and you can easily manipulate and this and that.
We left. I forgot who I used before that, and the reason I left is because they were upping the fee for. I didn't need all the stuff, and there was going to be a per seat, and I only need 3 seats.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot of things are raising prices, and we're not talking small amounts. Like, we're talking 15, 20. Like, look at markup. Markup was an 80% markup. Remember that when the whole thing.
And I just saw I saw something else. Not ClickUp. There was a service out there for checking in, for clocking your time. And someone said they're going to go.
Oh yeah. Harvest
from 2,500 to 25,000.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's great. I saw that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So they switched from Harvest to ClickUp, just using that built-in tracking on their projects.
Pretty sure they built their own.
No, I think he wrote ClickUp.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well, I'll go back.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I was getting too many notifications.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Well, cool.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, if people want to reach out and learn more about you, hire you, talk to you, whatever, where can people find you online?
So definitely you can find me on LinkedIn. It's just Howard Spaeth. You definitely email me through the website, hgrantdesigns.com. If you're on Slack and post status, I'm usually there. Those are probably the easiest, because if you randomly mess me on Facebook, you get blocked.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, anything, I love having conversations, love to pay it forward, because I have people who have helped me. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, awesome. Thanks so much. I'll put all those links in the show notes. Thanks for your time. And I'll see you around somewhere. Wait, real quick. You going to WordCamp US this year?
Probably not.
Phoenix? Yeah.
Well, I might be going to an air show
Oh.
that week. So, yeah.
Choices. You got to do what you got to do. That's all good.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'll see you around. So thanks
later,
again.
man. Yep.
Oh, right. And again, thanks, Howard, for taking the time to speak with me. It was really cool talking to you. We always have some great stuff to talk about. Probably once a month we hook up on Zoom and just kind of, hammer some stuff out, just kind of brainstorm and talk and vent. It's good times. Good times. All right. That's it for that. Moving on, segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip, I guess. Yeah, it's a tip. It's a documentary over on YouTube I found called The Database That Should Be Dead But Runs the Internet. Watching this reminded me that we do spend a lot of time talking about themes, plugins, AI, page builders. But underneath all that, there's a database doing millions of reads and writes without anyone giving any thought to it. So this is about a database, and you got to check it out. It's pretty interesting. And like I said, if you're a WordPress user, it's not a documentary about databases. It's more of a documentary about the unsung heroes that help us do what we do, that power our websites, really. So check it out. I'll put a link in the show notes. Again, it's called The Database That Should Be Dead But Runs the Internet. 22 minutes, pretty short. Kind of an interesting watch, and check that out. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, become a Patreon. That'd be great. Or you can buy me a coffee. Links on the website. If you want to sponsor the show, there's a form to fill out. Do that. I'll get right back to you, and we'll talk and see what we can do. Thanks for listening. Now go out and actually see you next week, and then go out and do some fun things and awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.